Gentlemen, a couple weeks ago here on the podcast, I showed you the awesome power of AI cloning. And I demonstrated to you that using AI, I could replicate your voices pretty easily.
Avatar is not a great film. It's not even a good one. Its biggest cultural legacy will be that it made a bunch of theaters upgrade to 3D for no reason.
I hereby swear that I shall never question the cultural relevance of this movie ever again.
My voice sounded pretty crappy, but like your voices were relatively good approximations.
Mm-hmm.
Dave remains a unique snowflake, irreplaceable.
100% accurate. During the course of that conversation, we speculated about how, one day you won't even need us here. It can just be, AI can write the scripts, AI can perform the voices.
Are you about to tell us that today is that day?
Well, I decided to investigate this possibility.
Sure.
This is like a bad idea, David, to investigate your own obsolescence.
Let me get to the point that I'm making, because I've prepared some media for this episode as usual.
Okay.
If they can replace our voices, can they also replace our personalities? So I had a chat with ChatGPT. It spit out a rather sophisticated kind of script with the three of us. So what I have done is I have taken that script and generated AI voices using that script, and I have assembled it together into an audio file that I'm going to now play for you.
Okay.
So you're saying we can take the rest of the episode off, is what you're saying?
An AI version of the Filmcast would sound like. Welcome to the Filmcast podcast, where we discuss everything related to movies and TV shows. I'm your host, David Chen, and I'm joined today by my co-hosts, Devindra Hardawar and Jeff Kanata. How are you both doing today?
I'm doing well, David. Excited to dive into some great movie and TV show discussions with you and Jeff.
Same here, David. Let's get started.
Great. So on today's episode, let's start by discussing the latest movie releases. Devindra, what have you seen recently that you'd like to talk about?
Well, I recently checked out The French Dispatch by Wes Anderson, and it's such a delight. The movie is quirky, visually stunning, and features an amazing ensemble cast. I highly recommend it.
That sounds fantastic, Devindra. Jeff, what about you? What have you seen lately that stood out to you?
I recently watched Dune in IMAX, and it was an incredible experience. The cinematography was stunning, the score was incredible, and the performances were top-notch. It's definitely a movie that needs to be seen on the big screen.
Agreed, Jeff. Dune is definitely one of the most impressive movies I've seen this year. So moving on to TV shows, what have you both been watching lately?
I recently finished Midnight Mass on Netflix, and it blew me away. It's a horror series that deals with complex themes like faith, grief, and redemption. The acting and writing are both fantastic, and I highly recommend it to anyone who enjoys horror or drama.
I've been catching up on Succession on HBO, which is about a dysfunctional family that runs a media empire. The writing is razor sharp, the acting is superb, and the show is just incredibly addictive. Highly recommend it.
All right, well, that's all the time we have for today's episode. Thanks for joining us, Devindra and Jeff, and thanks to all of our listeners for tuning in. We'll be back next week with more movie and TV show recommendations, so be sure to subscribe and stay tuned.
It's a very short podcast.
That's that. Now,
I don't know why they replaced you with Kai Ryssdal from NPR, but
now there are a lot of things that I think this audio really nails.
It really does capture your like tonal shifts,
my halting and unpredictable tonalities. Are captured in the podcast.
It adds in us. That's the weirdest thing. The AI adds in
because we know to expect us.
It's weird.
And it can also captures the fact that really this podcast is about short generic blandishments. Where
indeed. Bullet points.
Yeah, where the people don't even seem to be talking to each other. They're just kind of saying their own independent thoughts that literally anyone on the internet could also say.
Yeah, the most book reportish.
Oh yeah, there's virtually no insight whatsoever. So
I liked it. You should watch it. Next topic.
So I'd say it nails it. It nails it.
What does this mean for the future, right? Rather than rights be going to your family or something,
Yeah.
is what you're bequeathing to the world your AI representation? Will that stuff go to your family? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just
I
weird.
mean, would you want to have an AI representation in the world after you die? Like,
Sure. I could see it being, the thing is, I would put in a lot of rules. Like
Mhm.
if I was a personality at that point, be like, yeah, sure. Is this going to support my family? Moving forward, is this going to be used for good? Will there be limitations as to what it can and can't be used for? Yeah, I would think about that.
I don't have a problem with that either. Especially if it provides comfort to my family. If there's a
Right.
situation where my kids or grandkids or whatever want to have a conversation with me, and that can be facilitated in some digital fashion, I think that's kind of magic.
There was a Black Mirror episode about this very topic where
I mean, it's the Amazon show Upload as well, but yeah.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
At the time that the Black Mirror episode was made, it wasn't unthinkable, but it was like, oh, that's kind of like a fringe idea. Now,
Mhm.
literally, you just heard, it's relatively easy. It'd be guaranteed by the time we are, not guaranteed because a bus could hit us tomorrow, but
Yeah.
it's very likely by the time we pass on from this earth, there's going to be a really easy way to have a certainly audio representation of you that will have your personality.
But those are clones, like the Black Mirror thing and the Amazon show are about your literal consciousness.
No, I know. I'm talking about
Yeah.
clones. I'm talking about clones.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about your actual consciousness.
Okay.
I'm talking about like it's possible to, like, when you pass on,
Mhm.
to have like, hey, here's an AI represent. I've fed in 3,000 hours of podcasts and like
Yeah.
500 decoding everything newsletters. And,
No, that's. I mean,
and
that's
you can have a reasonable approximation of who David Chen is, and people can interact with it. And like, yeah, it
that's
would be
an
yeah,
important point. Is that what we just heard you play?
Yeah,
is not attempting to approximate our personalities at all.
I don't know. I don't know what the data set is. I don't know what the data
you
set
do know what the data set is. It's the entire internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying like there's transcripts of us, like
but I guarantee you it's not limiting itself to what the things that we have said.
Sure.
But you can conceive easily
of
a way to do that, where you literally
could train a model on stuff
only
that
the
we have
things
said.
that you have ever said or written or yes.
Yeah.
And then I think theoretically you would have a closer representation of yourself.
But that is a clone of somebody's external self too. Like
exactly.
That is not your full personality.
Oh yeah,
you don't know what's going on inside.
It's a copy.
It's
a black and white.
It's not even a copy. It's
not.
It's like Devindra put it perfectly. It is only the things that you have written down or said. Yeah. When I was in college and immediately post college, I kept a journal. Studiously, like every single day I journal, and I value those, and someday I would like my kids to be able to read my journal. Is my journal a complete picture of every part of who I was at that time? No, I wrote down whatever I wrote down that day, but I think it would, I hope they get some value of that. Like if I pass on or whatever it is, there's a snapshot of a moment in time of some of the thoughts I was having. And I think this could be similar to that. And I don't think that that's without value.
I kind of worry is the thing, like the journal is okay. My dad did this, right? And I'm reading the artifacts of his life and it is done, but also confirming dad is not around anymore. And I do wonder if we have these things that you're interacting with, does that forestall the sense of grief? Like you're actually processing a loss? Like that is where I'm starting to be like...
Does it prevent people from letting go, basically? If you have a version of that person you can always talk to. Like,
it's kind of...
Dad's gone, but I can just turn on my iPhone app, the Jeff Kanata app on my iPhone, and talk to him whenever I want. Like,
you know what I honestly think about a lot in regard to this is... Richard Donner's Superman the movie, where Superman can go into the Fortress of Solitude and talk to Marlon Brando.
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
At any time, right? It's that. Kal-El can talk to Jor-El. Jor-El is dead, right? Jor-El is dead. But they have this technology where he puts the crystal in, and some weird apparition, some not him, but. I mean, it's basically this, right? It's like some version of him can come and give Kal-El advice. It's the craziest thing to me about it is how fast it seems to have.
Yeah. It's like your mind was just adjusting to the idea that you could put in a prompt and then it would produce an image for you. Like, That felt like it was like 3 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Now,
now
we're gonna have leaps every few months. So
we're gonna have deepfake synthetic media.
yeah,
Um,
I've talked about Ray
the world
Kurzweil.
is not ready. A big one of these happened over the weekend. I don't know if you guys saw Balenciaga Pope.
Oh, is that
Yes,
the
sir.
one with the big coat on?
Yeah, with a big
Yeah,
coat.
yes, I saw
Right.
that.
So
yes.
that was a AI generated image that tricked a lot of people into
Oh
thinking
my
it was
gosh.
real.
I saw that and did not have any context of it being
Yeah,
not
you
real.
wouldn't because it looks totally real.
We're
I
not
brought
ready,
up-
and
Yeah.
our
We're not ready.
and based on the TikTok hearing I just witnessed, our
Yes.
lawmakers are not going to pass legislation in any meaningful time frame.
One thing I will say is maybe before you start creating AI versions of your friends, you should probably get permission. I think we're gonna start to.
Yes.
I think we're going to start to request that because people may not want to have this stuff out there, or they may not want to have their presence being chewed up by AI, ready to replace them at the drop of a hat.
Dave, I think he's talking to you.
Well, I'm talking to I think we all kind of sort of agreed, but yes, I think moving forward, a lot of people are thinking about the ethics of this. Some people I've seen people say like, you should not have somebody do a thing that they've never physically done, like with an AI image or AI movie. Like that is deeply unethical. I tend to agree. So
All right.
now we have to start thinking about
We
all
with somebody in the DLC Discord, my other show DLC, posted a report. I don't remember who did the report, but so it was a report about like the jobs that are most at risk for like the percentage of exposure of that job. And it was literally like everything I've ever done in my life. It's
Yeah.
like 100%, 100%, 100%. It's like, I'm glad I'm getting older because there's very few years left of me being able to have any kind of income.
Well, anyway, guys, at the end of the day, I think our jobs are safe from AI for at least another 4 to 6 weeks.
Maybe
And
stop
then-
feeding the machines.
Yeah.
Dave. How about that?
Maybe
about-
stop accelerating the taking over of our jobs.
That was a clip from the Filmcast After Dark. To get access to the whole episode, go to patreon.com/filmpodcast. You can sign up for ad-free episodes as well as exclusive After Darks. You can find the regular podcast at thefilmcast.com. And of course, like and subscribe for more videos like this one. Thanks for watching.